Play of the game.
Oh look, Toblerone gets another play of the game with his turret kills. Awesome!
Yeah, but I mean, what can you do? By the way, my phone's dead. Do you have the time?
It's high noon.
Delish. Every now and then, certain games take my entire life hostage for hours at a time with the way they're able to transport me into their worlds. However, I find that as I get older and responsibilities begin piling up, these special titles have a harder time breaking into my daily routine. It doesn't mean there's not revolutionary games being released every single year, because there are. It's just, I find my own threshold for both seeking out and pouring hours into these sorts of things has gradually gotten lower, because I'm more unwilling to get invested in a property when I know I should be spending my time and efforts on something more realistic. But when it comes to Overwatch, I never had this problem. After discovering the game through some online friends mere weeks ago, I've quickly gone from not even knowing about this game to spending every free moment I can trying to reach my next level so I can get that sweet, sweet loot box. And if I'm being honest, my jump from apathy to complete immersion has totally caught me off guard, and now that I've taken some time with Blizzard's latest, I've come to the realization that Overwatch has done something absolutely brilliant that I don't think any developer's gotten so right before. They've taken the common FPS experience and made it personal. By injecting so much character and so much life into the gorgeous world of Overwatch, they've created something really special. A game where you feel a connection to every move you make. It seems almost absurd it's taken this long, but instead of making every player some nameless soldier who can customize his or her weapons, abilities, and armor, Blizzard's gone all in on the notion that the character you choose with their set quirks and playstyle is more important to your experience than the option to personalize an empty avatar, and in my opinion, it's paying off big time. And you would think that with a roster of only 21 characters, many with similar elements, Overwatch would get boring after only a few hours, similar to how fighting titles generally play out for more casual gamers. But funny enough, it's the exact opposite. Because each character in the game has a style that's distinctly theirs, you find yourself getting attached to certain heroes after only a few sessions, and once you find that one that perfectly complements your playstyle, you'll have a tough go trying to play as anyone else. Sure, you may have a particular character in mind for various objectives, but at the end of the day, nearly every person I know who's played Overwatch has that one individual that clicked with them almost immediately. This creates loads of replay value because by the time you finally do get sick of your core group of heroes, there are over a dozen more to choose from. So even though there's currently only 12 maps and only a handful of modes, this game still hasn't lost its charm, and honestly, I don't know if it ever will. That's because as you progress through the game and find that one special hero, you eventually form a bond and begin to develop a personalized style all your own, which, when put on a team of 6, makes you feel like you playing that character brings value to your team. In fact, it seems that everyone I've discussed this game with always has two questions. What version do you own, and which character do you main? Which is an unbelievably weird thing to hear when talking about a genre where you rarely feel a connection to any particular map, let alone character. In many ways, the character you pick is a representation of who you are as a gamer, and who you choose to play as says a lot about your interests in general. For example, I can't stand Roadhog because when I play competitive games, whether it be fighting, racing, or shooting, I like to move fast and catch my enemies off guard. However, after trying out a few different characters, my brother fell in love with the chunky Australian because he found using his chain ability perfectly complemented not only how he likes to attack, but also defend. Which is outstanding, because as a team-based game, you need all different types of personalities to win. This allows each and every team to be both competitive, but also unique in every new match, which again helps this game stay fresh during the course of many consecutive games. It's because of the way that these characters work off of one another that I never feel guilty for my risky run-and-gun playstyle, because I know there's always going to be a Bastion or a Widowmaker defending our objective. This notion allows me to have a blast playing matches with characters like Tracer or Reaper and never worry that I'm not fulfilling my role on the team. Because as an offensive hero, I should almost always be on the attack. Which means I get to play the game exactly how I want to, as long as it doesn't conflict with the team's chemistry or efforts. What, you think just because I'm a Canadian Nintendo fan I'm not edgy enough to play Reaper? Dude, thanks so much for having me over to watch E3 this year. I can't wait to see what Reggie and the team do.
Oh man, didn't you hear that Nintendo's not bringing anything to E3 this year? Just Zelda or something like that.
Now, I know that Overwatch didn't invent the wheel, and that games like Team Fortress 2 and League have put emphasis on characterization for years now, but I feel like those games have a slight learning curve that I've personally never felt comfortable with. Where Overwatch succeeds is that it balances both memorable characters' intense gameplay with an accessibility that I think other devs would kill for. I truly believe that deep down, we all love when we find something that's our own, whether it be a talent, a career, or yes, even a character we can personalize in a video game. Finding things that help forge your identity are key to discovering more about yourself as both a gamer and maybe even a person, and as you begin to get attached to certain characters, you may find yourself becoming protective or maybe even a little envious of other strangers playing them. This is also why getting loot boxes feels so satisfying, because the treasures inside give you more tools to add your personality into whichever hero you connect with most. The ultimate reward for putting more of your time into the game is to put more of yourself into your character, which is a pretty revolutionary system. So if you can't tell yet, I've absolutely fallen in love with Overwatch, and if you haven't gotten on the hype train, I highly recommend that you find a way to at least play the game. It's easy to learn, loads of fun, and the characters are fleshed out just enough that they each bring their own weight to the experience, but still hollow enough that each new player can fill them with their own characteristics. And in a tumultuous time in gaming where everything feels so daunting and massive, it's nice to know that there's still a place left for all of us to have an impact. Play of the game.
Yuka wa ga teki wo kurau!